Britain's royal family faced a wave of boos and protest chants as they arrived at Westminster Abbey for the annual Commonwealth Day service. Crowds shouted, "Charles, what do you know?" while anti-monarchy signs reading, "Not my king," and "Abolish the monarchy" were held just feet from the entrance. At the center of the controversy is Andrew Mountbatten Windsor, whose arrest and long-running ties to Jeffrey Epstein continue to cast a shadow over the royal family. Now, protesters say the monarchy must answer the burning question: what did senior royals know about Andrew, and when? The tense moment unfolded on Monday as King Charles III, Queen Camilla, Prince William, Princess Catherine, Princess Anne, and others arrived at Westminster Abbey for the annual Commonwealth Day service. Instead of the usual cheers from royal watchers, the group was greeted by loud boos and chants. Members of the anti-monarchy organization, Republic, had gathered outside the Abbey with bright yellow placards. The demonstrators used the event, one of the most symbolic gatherings on the royal calendar, to highlight their anger over the monarchy's handling of the ongoing controversy surrounding Andrew. Despite the tension, the royals continued walking into the Abbey, smiling and greeting church officials without directly acknowledging the protesters. The protest comes just weeks after a historic and deeply embarrassing moment for the royal family. Andrew Mountbatten Windsor, formerly known as Prince Andrew, was arrested on February 23rd on suspicion of misconduct in public office. The allegations relate to his time serving as the United Kingdom's trade envoy, a role he held for a decade promoting British business interests abroad. Investigators began looking more closely at Andrew after his name surfaced repeatedly in a massive trove of documents linked to Jeffrey Epstein. Those files, reportedly totaling millions of pages, were released earlier this year by the U.S. Department of Justice. Authorities are now reviewing whether Andrew's professional relationships and connections during his years as trade envoy raise legal questions. The former Duke of York has consistently denied any wrongdoing. Andrew's association with Jeffrey Epstein has haunted the royal family for years. Epstein, a wealthy financier with connections to powerful figures across politics, business, and entertainment, was arrested in 2019 on federal sex trafficking charges. He died in jail later that year while awaiting trial. Among Epstein's most prominent accusers was Virginia Giuffre, who had alleged that Epstein trafficked her to Andrew when she was 17 years old. Andrew denied the claim and said he had no recollection of meeting her. However, the scandal exploded publicly in 2019 after Andrew gave a widely criticized television interview on the BBC program Newsnight. The backlash from that interview forced Andrew to step back from royal duties. In 2022, he reached a private legal settlement with Giuffre in the United States. The agreement included no admission of wrongdoing, but the controversy permanently damaged his public standing. Since Andrew's arrest, the royal family has largely remained silent. One of the few members to address the issue publicly was Prince Edward, Andrew and Charles's younger brother. Speaking at an education panel in Dubai, Edward said it was important to not forget the victims involved in the broader Epstein case. Official palace statements have echoed that sentiment. A spokesperson for Buckingham Palace said King Charles has expressed deep concern about the allegations surrounding Andrew's conduct. The statement also emphasized that if police request assistance from the royal household, they will fully cooperate. For years, senior royals avoided commenting directly on Andrew's situation, but the scale of the controversy has forced a rare public statement from Prince William and Princess Catherine of Wales. Through Kensington Palace, the couple said they were deeply concerned by the continuing revelations. Their statement also emphasized that their thoughts remain focused on the victims of abuse. The carefully worded response reflects the delicate balancing act facing the monarchy, acknowledging public concern while avoiding direct involvement in a legal investigation. Outside Westminster Abbey, Republic's chief executive, Graham Smith, said the royal family still has questions to answer. He argued that both King Charles and Prince William should explain what they knew about Andrew's associations. According to Smith, public attitudes toward the monarchy have shifted dramatically over the past 2 decades. He believes the current controversy could prove transformative. For Britain's royal family, the protests outside Westminster Abbey were a visible reminder of the growing scrutiny surrounding Andrew Mountbatten Windsor. As King Charles led the biggest royal gathering since Andrew's arrest, they were met with loud criticism. While investigators continue examining Andrew's conduct and the Epstein connections resurface in the public conversation, the pressure on the monarchy to provide answers may only intensify. And for King Charles, the challenge now is protecting the credibility of the crown while one of its own remains at the center of a storm.